Hey dudes and lady dudes, welcome back to the shop. So today I got another product I want to talk to you guys about. This is the M10X. This one's actually the pistol, but we've turned this one into an SBR. All that really means, if you're not familiar, is this pistol now has a vertical foregrip and a buttstock instead of a pistol brace. You legally cannot do that, so don't do that unless you go and file your paperwork with the ATF and pay your tax stamp. Because we're an SOT, that's a little bit different of a process for us. But today I'd like to talk to you about this gun because I didn't know a whole lot about it when I first saw it. I thought it was a very cool looking gun. I thought it was sort of reminiscent of AKs. I thought it was sort of like a futuristic AK. And then once we picked them up, had them in the shop for a while, I did a little more research on them. And I realized they had kind of like a mixed reception among people because they had sort of done some beta testing with their product after its commercial launch, which is not uncommon, unfortunately, in a lot of products, but it's generally regarded as a not very nice thing to do. And I can understand. You know, they were a smaller company. They launched what they thought they had was a good product. They realized the product had some issues here and there, and if you had issues, they would upgrade your product. You could send it in, or they would send you the parts to upgrade it. Different heat treating on bolt carriers, things like that. So, you know, maybe some people in the beginning were turned off by them, but like I said, the more I dove into them, the more I realized there were some really unique things going on here. I, at one point, fell in love with the SIG 550 series of firearms. If you've never seen the SIG 550 series of firearms, I suggest you go look them up. SIG 550, 551, 552, and 553. All very, very cool firearms. Only the 552 was one where they went and like put the spring and stuff back behind the action again. But the rest of the series is all encapsulated spring and action and recoil system up in front. Very, very cool. I have a feeling my computer is about to do the Siri thing, which always drives me crazy because I'm never talking to her. So if she does, I'm sorry. But very unique firearm. Now, there's not a ton of stuff out on the market for it as far as like stock adapters and stuff. You may have seen we did a little video on how to make a stock adapter out of a Zastava 1913 pick rail. And you know, we did, and it worked just fine, and you know, it's been holding up just fine. But it would be nice if there was a legitimate product out there. Of course, you know, we could CNC something, or we could 3D print something, have it sent out, and maybe we will eventually. But you know, right now, that's just where we're at. But like I said, you know, neat firearm. Comes from the factory with a brake. If you're not familiar with these types of brakes where they have the forks on the front, it's for wire cutting. So, you know, the military, things like that, you're cutting a fence, got to get through somewhere, you stick that prong into the fence, shoot, and bang, there you go. M-lock all around. I've just got a cheapo flashlight and a little visible laser on here. True glow, sort of like, it's kind of like an aim point patrol carbine copy there. It's actually very nice. And then the upper and lower are a little bit different. So there's a button underneath here on the rear of the stock. I don't know if you can see that right there. You need to press that, and then your entire upper receiver comes off. Oops, I should have taken the mag out first. I would do that. The mag kind of hangs in there. And then your fire control group is left in the bottom, very reminiscent of like an AK. And then your bolt carrier and everything is still encapsulated in the front of the receiver. So as far as clearing malfunctions, field stripping for a quick grease job, very convenient, nothing flying out at you, no parts you're gonna lose there, no pins to pull out or anything like that. So that's a very, very neat system. Now, if you wanna field strip it further than that, you pull the adjustable gas block. So this is a 3-position gas block. It's gonna have a 0 complete shutoff, 1 for normal operation, and 2 for if things start getting gummed up or you're in bad conditions. It also has a suppress setting that no one knows about, that if you flip it completely over, all 3 settings on the other side are the suppress setting. They're all exactly the same size. So you just reverse it, and you've got very, very small gas because of the additional gas pressure. That's one complaint that some people had made that I had heard, was that when they were firing the rifle suppressed, the action was coming back too far and they were damaging back here. They were starting to smack the reciprocating handle into the back. Well, you were overgassing your gun. You didn't read the manual, you didn't check, and you didn't see that you do have a suppressed setting. You just have to flip this completely over. So why so many negative reviews? Why so many negative comments? I think it's one, lack of product, right? You can buy the gun, but then you got to get pretty creative as far as tricking it out, right? Now, beyond that, who benefits from this company not being too terribly successful with this sort of SIG clone? Well, any of the channels that you see that are also involved in importing firearms. I don't want to talk badly about people I don't personally know, but like, for instance, Military Arms Channel has had trouble in the past where he's gotten into it, where he imports something and complains about people price gouging and stuff like that, and then he goes and does the same thing, gets like the only 100 rifles coming in, and then he sets the market value at it and he skyrockets it and does some really shady shit to people. Well, I mean, if he's involved in importing SIG 550s, and selling them at his store they go for about $5,000 or more. That's extremely expensive. And this is about a $1,200 gun. So, if this, and anybody can get a hold of this. So if everybody's got, some sort of SIG ish rifle, then where is now the value in the SIG ish rifle? It starts to come down because it becomes a more commonplace item. So I think that has a bit to do with it too. Now, was it perfect? Like I said, no, of course it wasn't perfect, but many things that have hit the market, sometimes aren't. But I think this thing has a lot of potential. They are a little bit smaller of a company right now. They are getting bigger and better. They are trying. I think they've got a lot of kinks to work out. I would like to see a 5.56 gun. This is 7.62 by 39. I'd really like to see a 5.56 gun. And if M+M is out there listening, I think you need to extend your handguard out to the front here. I don't want, don't come past the block, but come up to the block, flatten it off. I'd also increase the width of the guard to follow just from the base flat along. We don't need this ledge here. You don't need to be so close and so slim. I think you need to continue it at the height that it is. Get rid of this nub. I understand why you put that there, but it interferes with mounting of a lot of things. If I wanted to mount a flat light on the bottom, like I had a Zenit coat that has an extended mount that would have came out front here and sat out this way. It would have been really cool on this firearm, but I couldn't do it without cutting this nub off, and I didn't feel like getting out the grinder and cutting a big chunk of aluminum off the gun when it's permanent. It's not just like a handguard I can swap out. I think, that is a start. And obviously, I think that your rear end piece needs to have a 1913 adapter. I think it should just come with it. I think it should be something you guys should include in the box, because that's a little ridiculous. Set those rights wrong, and I think that you've got an incredible product here that is really, really worth it. Tons of fun to shoot. It has a different recoil impulse. It's a very, very smooth firing rifle. It has a really nice, light, unique trigger, even though it's like an AK style trigger. They did a very good job with it. It's very, very light and crisp. And I really, really enjoy this firearm. So yeah, guys, the M10X from M+M Inc. Very, very cool. We have a few in the shop. But yeah, they've been around for a while, and hopefully they stick around. Hopefully we see more from them. All right, guys.